Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel Leela Web Dev. In this video, we will learn about the HTTP fundamentals. So what is the request and what is the responses? We'll try to learn about this one. So welcome to this comprehensive exploration of HTTP, the foundation of the web communication. Throughout this presentation, we will dive into how HTTP requests and response work and examine their components and build our own simple HTTP server and client. We'll try to do this one step by step. We will start by understanding the basic structure of HTTP communication, then move into practical implementation using the Node.js. By the end, you will have a solid grasp of HTML fundamentals that will serve as a foundation for more advanced web development concepts. So let's move one by one. So here, if you try to see here, understanding the HTTP communication. So first of all, what we'll try to do is we'll try to know about this GUI protocol overview. HTTP, the full form for this one is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is the foundation of the data communication on the web built on the top of TCP IP networking. And this one is a request response model. HTTP follows a client server model where client sends request to the servers and servers responds with the requested resources. So this is the model which the HTTP request follows. And we'll try to see the Node.js implementation, how this client server model will follow. Node.js provides us with a native HTTP module support, making it easy to create both HTTP server and also the clients. So we can develop easily by using the Node.js. So first of all, we'll set up our development environment. We'll try to create a project structure. So we'll start by creating a new folder called HTTP to organize our code examples and experiments. And we'll create a server file, create a file named simple server.js file that will contain our HTTP server implementation. And also we'll create a simple file named simple client.js that will be also used to send requests to our server. Let's try to create this environment. So we will create our project structure and we will create the simple server and simple client.js. So let's go here, and in this one only what I will try to do is I will create a new folder or something like this. So here only I will create HTTP. Okay, this is our project, not project. So this is our folder. In this one I will try to create a simple what I mean to say is simple server.js file, simple server.js file, and also we can also create simple client.js file also. So later on we will try to do it. So we have created our folder. So just we have created our server file that will contain our HTTP server implementation. Okay, let's try to do it that one. And first what we need to do to in order to create a basic HTTP server. So what is the first step we need to do? We need to import the HTTP module. So we have a Node.js built-in HTTP module that we can import it using constant HTTP is equal to require node of HTTP. And also we will create a server instance. So initialize the server with http.create server method, and we will listen to the port and confirm server status. So these are the 4 steps which we need to do it. So let's try to do it one by one here. So we'll do it one by one, this one all. Next, you need to understand what is the difference between this HTTP module and also the .NET module. We'll try to see the difference between those two. Previously, if you have tried to observe, we have used our net module. So net module means TCP module, we have used it. It provides a low level networking capabilities for TCP UDP communication. It requires manual handling of protocol details. So works with raw data streams without protocol specific abstractions. So this is the type which we have did it. But here HTTP module is built on the top of the net module, adding HTTP specific functionality. Handles HTTP protocol details automatically. Provides request and response objects with helpful methods and properties. So this HTTP module will provide all these things. So here we need to delete everything custom. So fine. So HTTP server event handling. So how this HTTP server works actually, normally it will listen for the requests. So server listens for the incoming HTTP request on a specified port. So this HTTP request will listen for the specific request. And what it will try to do, so it will send the response. So it will go on like this. Okay. So listen for the request. Then when the request arrives, request event is emitted. So a event with the name request will be emitted. Then it will try to execute the callback function whenever this request event is emitted and generates the response. And it will send the response back to the client. So this is the step what it will happen. First it will listen for the request, and it when the request comes means it will trigger an event, and whatever the callback is there logic it will execute and it will send the response back to the client. So this is the HTTP server event handling in the Node.js. So anatomy of an HTTP request. Normally, what are the things that HTTP primarily has? Every HTTP request, whenever you are getting whenever you are getting a request from the client. So here the client means think of it as a browser. So whenever every request, HTTP request coming from this client, so every request consists of these four components. So these are the four main components which you will be having. First one is the method, HTTP method. So this can be of type get, post, put, or delete, etc. I will try to explain you these things also. The next one is the URL. So slash user slash images, like this you will be having a resource path. And the next one is the headers. So this is all metadata about the request. And the last one is the body. It is an optional, and you will be having the data payload. The method indicates the action to perform. The URL specifies the resource path. Headers contain metadata about the request, and the body is optional, contains any data being sent to the server. So these are the four four components which the HTTP request method generally contains. So here I am talking about the request which is coming to the server. So now first one is HTTP method we have discussed, right? So the HTTP method we are having four types: get, post, put, and delete. So what is the difference between these two? So here get means request data from a specified resource, used when you want to retrieve information without modifying anything on the server. So if you don't want to modify anything on the server means, then we will be using the get request. So it will appear in the browser address bar, can be bookmarked, data visible in the URL. Post request means submits data to be processed to a specified resource, used when you want to add or create something on the server. So data will be sent on the request body. What is the data you want to create it in the server, and cannot be bookmarked, more secure for sensitive data. And other methods like put and delete. HTTP includes several other methods like four different operations. Put, so update existing resources. Delete, remove resources. Patch means partial updates you will be doing it. So that's it. These are the four methods which you will be having. So next one is the URL structure in the HTTP. So the next part what we have discussed is the URL, right? So URL, you will be having the URL also, again it is divided into three main parts. So first one is the protocol, that is nothing but the HTTP or HTTPS. So what type of protocol you are using it. If it is an FTP means, if it is a TCP or SSH means, you will be changing it here. And the next one is the host or the port. So local host means the host and the port. And the last one is the path. So these are the three structure you will be having. URLs in the HTTP request help organize your application into logical sections. For example, all user related operations might be under slash users, while image operations might be under slash images. This creates a natural structure that makes your API more intuitive and also easier to navigate. So the next structure. So let's try to see about the third section, that is nothing but HTTP headers. So what is this HTTP headers? So I told you about this is the metadata, right? HTTP provides essential metadata about the request. What is this data? What does it contain? These are all the things it will provide it. Or response, such as content type, length, and encoding. We'll try to see about most of the things we'll try to see, but not all of them. I will try to explain you important things. What are the headers we will be having? Headers like user agent identify the client making the request, whether it is a so header user agent, it will try to tell you that whether the request has been made from the browser or what type of browser or postman or something like that. It will try to give you the information. Headers can contain authentication information like session token or APS key. Authentication, you will be having another header, so you will have an information like a session token and the API key. Headers control connection, behavior, caching, and other protocol specific settings are also you will be having. Common HTTP headers where you will be finding is, one is the content type, specifies the media or the type of the resource, application slash JSON. Next one is the content length, indicates the size of the body in the bytes, total 348 bytes you will be having, something like that. So whenever the body you are sending it means, so total number of body size it is having, it will be mentioned. And the content type means what is the type of content type we are trying to send it. Now here user agent, so it will tell you what who is accessing. Accept means, so what type of response that the client will accept. Authorization contains authentication credentials. Connection controls the connection behavior, whether you want to keep it alive or something like that. So the next one, the last one is the HTTP request body. So we have seen the four anatomy of an HTTP, right? Method we have seen, URL we have seen, and the headers we have seen briefly, and now the body. So the body will not come as a whole. So the request body always it will come as a Node.js stream. So why? Because the Node.js follows the streaming architecture. Node.js treats the HTTP request bodies as the readable streams. Okay. allowing data to be processed in chunks rather than loading everything into memory at once. Streaming prevents memory issues when handling large requests, as only a small portion of data is in memory at any given time. Stream-based processing allows for transforming, validating, or filtering data as it arrives without waiting for the complete payload. So that is the main usage of this request body as a stream. How we will be handling the request body data? So we are telling that HTTP request body, whatever the body we are getting, it will be handled as a stream, right? So how we will be handling it means, so listen for the data events as it is a readable stream. So you will be having an event data. So you can set up event listener for the incoming data chunks, and you can process the each chunks and listen for the end event. So when the end event is filed means, then you need to understand that the data is all received. Unlike other request properties that can be accessed directly, the body must be consumed as a stream only. This is done by listening for data events to receive chunks and the end event to know when the entire body has been received. So code implementation reading request data will be something like on off request. So whenever a request has been sent, so you will be having two parameters, request and response. And here you can see the method request.method, the URL and the request.headers. Directly you can access these three parts, but the fourth part data, the body should be accessed only with the request.onOff data. Why? Because it is the data request.body will be coming as a stream only. So that is the main thing. So how you can test your HTTP server? So just you need to start run the server using Node.js node simple server.js file. Open the browser localhost 8050, whatever the port you are trying to open it, and you can check the terminal output to see the request details. So when we test our server by accessing it through a web browser, you can observe the HTTP request details in our server logs. This helps us understand what information is being sent to the browser and how our server process it. So that is the main thing. So I will try to show you this all how we can able to understand. So I will show you this one all about this one. So analyzing the browser request out means whenever you are examining the output from a browser request to your server, we can see the method is get as browsers request the received data. The URL is just root path, and there are numerous headers providing information about the browser, accepted content types, connection settings, and more. You can able to see it. So headers means you will be able to see the host headers, connection header, accept headers, user agent headers. These are all the things you'll be able to see. So benefits of HTTP keep alive is 50% decreasing in connection setup time for subsequent requests, lower CPU usage, reduction in server processing overhead, and increased throughput, improvement in the request handling capacity. The connection keep alive header we observed maintains a persistent connection between the client and server, eliminating the need to establish a new TCP connection for each request. This significantly improves the performance when multiple resources are needed from the same server. So that's it guys about this one. So next step what we'll try to do it is in the next video we'll try to see the practical implementation of this HTTP. So we'll see about the HTTP headers, HTTP request body, method, URL, and all those things we'll try to implement it. So that's it guys about this HTTP concept. So hope you understood about this thing. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.